Right. Thank you so much for turning up for yourself, gathering more wisdom, more awareness, so that you can overcome, our own selves to grow and expand in this divine world that we're living in. And so, yeah, this is something that I talk a lot about with clients. I have a lot of clients that get in their own way. And so it's been really cool to be able to gather resources, because for myself as well, I spend a lot of time self-sabotaging myself. So gathering resources and stuff, testing them on myself, having them, giving these tools and ideas and suggestions to my clients. Obviously, this could be such a massive, workshop in itself. So I'm just going to, try my very best to stick to the 90 minutes. um, I do like to chat, so I do have a script here that just keeps me on board. So I'm going to just, be very mindful of time, like I said. So yeah, self-sabotage. Everyone kind of knows what it feels like, knows what it, knows how it kind of might, or maybe they don't know how it shows up in their life. So yeah, I love running these masterclasses because obviously as a coach and a spiritual healer and teacher and educator, I love sharing wisdom to help people grow and step into the divine and glorious human that they are. And so how to get the most out of this micro class or master class. Um, Obviously, you guys have shown up here for a reason. And so to get the most out of it, just turn the TV off or turn the phone off, let people know that you're um, gaining some wisdom and just give 100% of your attention for the full 90 minutes. Playful out. If you've got some comments or whatever, please, feel free to share your experiences, or if you have any questions that come up in regards to anything, don't be a ghost. Like, put your hand up, or, unmute yourself and say, hey, what about XYZ? You've chosen to be here tonight. And so, there's no bad questions, there's no dumb questions, anything like that. So I fully encourage that everyone here is a student, everyone here is a teacher. And that's, a lot of my motto in all the things, all the workshops and trainings and everything that I teach whenever I'm working with clients. Just because I'm delivering this doesn't mean that I'm the guru and I know everything. Obviously, this is just, a little bit of information to a bigger kind of topic. So take notes, feel free to take notes. Love engagement, the comments, feedback, all that kind of stuff, what you're enjoying, ask questions. That's why you are here. And yes, thank you so much for turning up. Amazing. Most of you here know who I am, but there's Eve. I don't think I've worked with you before. And so my name is Emily Pettigrew. I am the owner and founder of Divine Energy Alchemy and a confidence mindset coach. Self-mastery is kind of my thing, right? And when I say self-mastery, it's having that awareness that it's an everyday thing. It's this beautiful journey, that it's not a destination that we kind of get there. It's looking at where we were yesterday and just doing little steps to just be a little bit better than we were yesterday. So it's that continual journey of self-mastery here. And I just love working with women to, that have done a lot of kind of spiritual work or a lot of self-development work or spiritual development work, but want to go even deeper. I love, my three pillars in my work is getting to know, like, and trust yourself, to gain self-sovereignty of yourself, to stand in your own courage, to stand in your own strength, to have a beautiful relationship with yourself, like coming back home, Because when we can do that, we offer the world the best version of ourselves. So we have better relationships with our family and friends and bosses and the universe and the trees and the flowers and all that kind of stuff. And in this beautiful journey, you gain more clarity and insight as to, who you want, what sort of person you want to become. And we work together to gain strategies in, doing that, making that happen for yourself and meeting yourself where you are always. So I love teaching, I love sharing, and of course, empowering others. And I know, most of you ladies in here are all in that same thing, being surrounded by people who are lifting us up and encouraging us and inspiring us and motivating us. My bigger picture is, mission in the world is just to help to raise the consciousness of the world. And if it's, through the chapter in the book that I wrote, or through workshops like this, or bigger workshops, or retreats, or whatever it is, if I can just help raise the vibration of one person, like, how cool is that? So why stick around to the end? Like I said earlier, you're watching this for a reason. You either want to boost your confidence, or you just love hanging out with me, which, you're only human. You may be in a place where you just want to better yourself, that you are aware that this sabotage thing is holding you back and you're just sick of being stuck there, and you've kind of tried a lot of stuff, but it's not really working, or you don't stick to it. Or you may just want to gain confidence so that you can just step into your power and stand up for yourself better. Stand up for what you believe in. Speak your truth. Simply just be proud of yourself and for growing, for allowing your soul to expand and experience in this amazing world. And so I commend you, because just turning up today, you're already taking action on your awareness. So thank you for showing up for you, and for that little timid inner child inside of you that needs or wants someone to lead the way. And so us in this version can gain all that wisdom so that we can, help our little inner child to feel safe and confident in themselves, which then allows us to feel safe and confident in ourselves. And so what makes this different? So I've got nothing for sale here. This is just me pouring wisdom into anyone that wants to listen. It's just proven content and strategies that will just show you a clear path back to yourself, in a way to honor yourself, nurture yourself, respect yourself. And so, this is just, obviously, if you're wanting extra guidance, of course, I'm absolutely here for you for a phone call or treatment or whatever. But just knowing that, you want something more than what you're doing at the moment, but you don't know how to get there, like doing stuff like this and bigger things is amazing. And I really commend you for that, because it can be really hard for some people just to, to execute some change in their life. And so I would like to let you know that if any questions or any curiosity arises out of any of the content shared tonight, please reach out. I really thrive when I'm of service. If I'm not helping people, I kind of feel like I'm not doing my life's work. It's a belief of mine. So, awareness, something to kind of work on as well. But any questions that you have about anything, about how you can keep yourself in alignment with yourself, with where you want to go, if you want to find out where you want to go, even, like, it's totally my jam. I love being in that space, to offer support and motivation and to be your biggest cheerleader, for you to be able to create a life where you absolutely honor yourself and you step into that strength and that courage to do you. And that can always be achieved in so many different ways. And so please know that today, what I'm sharing today is, like I said, just a fraction of what's kind of available for you out there. And obviously, I'm just going to kind of touch on a few different topics. Um, Absolutely, we can go deeper, and that's a really cool. If you want to go deeper, please reach out. But I'm sharing this information from my own perception of what has worked for me, what I've read, what I've been trained in, what I've learned from others. But this is about you. And so, with all the work that I do, this is about you um, honoring yourself and being honest with yourself. And so, take everything that I share with a grain of salt. Some things you might go, oh my God, that sounds amazing. And other things you might go, what the hell is she talking about? Um, and this is just, some things you might resonate with and other things you might not, but it's just a matter of playing with it. Like, this is just options. We can play with it and we can try it on, we can stretch it, we can shrink it, just making it work for you. And some things, like I said, may work for you, and others just, you might just go, that was a crock of shit. But it might work for somebody else. But I love giving people the options for them to try what works, because not one thing works for everyone. So Panadol doesn't work for everyone, right? So, and this is where I step into that self-sovereignty. It's like, you've got to do what works for you. And it's going to be different from day to day, person to person. And so, like I mentioned earlier, my motto, or the pillars of pretty much all my work, is strategies and knowledge about knowing yourself, about liking yourself. And you notice I say like and not love, because I talk baby steps. A lot of people find it really hard to love themselves. And so let's just start liking ourselves. And we can like ourselves a bit better when we understand and know ourselves. And so then the repercussion of that is you get to trust yourself more. You get to take responsibility of yourself, and you can trust your own body, what your body is telling you, your intuition. And it's a really, really magical thing. Like stepping into the power and not allowing the external world to, control or navigate your movements. It's like, what do I need? What do I want for myself? And then you can take those steps to do that, to get that, to make that happen. And I love that. And it's so simple, right? Kind of. The idea of it is simple. Okay, so before we get into it, I just wanted to, and this in itself, like I run a whole workshop on this, and it's one of the first exercises I do with all my coaching clients, is to introduce you to the ego. Now, the ego has a pretty bad rap, but I love it. I love working with the ego. And when I say I love it, because it's our biggest teacher, one of our biggest teachers. It can tell us so much about ourselves when we know how it turns up in our life, how it shows up. So the ego's got a beautiful role to keep us alive. However, the ego does not like change. The ego does not like to be criticized or challenged. It's going to come to your defense whenever it feels like it's being criticized or challenged. But the ego also, because it doesn't like change and to be challenged, it therefore keeps you safe and small. So it loves to wrap itself in a little blankie on the couch and watch Netflix, because that keeps you alive, right? It might not be very healthy. It might not be great for your mental health or anything like that, but you're surviving. However, the higher self, it wants you to grow. It wants you to expand. And the way to do that is through experiences. So we have this beautiful divine vehicle that has enabled our soul to experience everything in this world. And it's the humanness in us that, that calls it bad or good or negative or positive, whereas the soul just wants the experience. We hold on to the meaning, and we can keep it and use it as proof for things. Whereas the soul's pretty much like, oh shit, that's what that feels like. Oh, okay, cool. That was uncomfortable. Move on to the next experience. And so when you get to understand how the ego, when the ego shows up for you, you have an awareness around it. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, because then you have a choice as to whether you're going to let ego drive the bus and direct what's happening or what's not going to happen, or you can put the ego in the passenger seat and allow the higher self to take the wheel. The ego can sit there and bitch and moan and curse and smoke or whatever, but it does not touch the wheel. So when you have an awareness of the ego, the higher self, the empowerment then comes from you deciding who's going to drive the bus. It's very cool. Rightio, self-sabotage, huh? So self-sabotage refers to the deliberate or the subconscious or unconscious behaviors, thoughts, or actions that hinders one's own progress or success, or even our well-being, whether it be mental, physical, emotional, whatever. So it involves undermining one's goals, our desires, and our opportunities, and often without a clear, rational explanation. And so self-sabotage can manifest, obviously, in many, many various ways. And I introduced you to the ego because it underlines, it has a big say. When we self-sabotage, it's usually the ego has a little say in there. It's got its foot in the door going, no, 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 don't change, don't grow, watch Netflix. Very cheeky. So recognizing that self-sabotage is a very common human experience. It can also be a very helpful step in addressing it when we're aware of it and working towards a personal growth and success. So when we are aware of how we self-sabotage, it makes it easier then to break the cycle. And it can be very, very challenging because you're going against your default, your habits, your neural pathways, like stuff that's been ingrained in you, our negative emotions, our negative beliefs. But it can be such a beautiful and transformative process. When you get to know how it shows up for you, you can break that cycle. And it's amazing. You get to drive the bus. So let's get into it. Let's get into getting out of our own way. And this is all about, in this awareness, it's about being really, really honest with yourself. And so with a lot of the work that I do, and it's why a lot of people, there's not a lot of people that are willing to have a look at themselves dead center and go, oh shit, that's what's going on. That's wrong. Or that's what I don't like. That's what needs to change. But this is where the beautiful change and transformation comes, is when we're honest with ourselves and we start to understand ourselves with love and compassion. Getting rid of the comparison, getting rid of the shame and the guilt and the blame. So, as I mentioned, there are several reasons why individuals engage in self-sabotaging behavior. So it can stem from all sorts of various sources. So I'm just going to kind of go through, I don't even know how many I've got, doesn't even matter. The first one is the fear of success. And I know it sounds really crazy because we all want more. Like, we want to succeed. We want to go forward. We want to grow. We want to expand. But then there's so many of us that fear the responsibilities and the expectations that come with that success. And I'm definitely one of those people. Just saying. Can anyone else relate to that? Like, oh my God, if I get really busy, then I fucking have to show up. I've got to do more work. I have to be congruent with, what I'm doing. And so you worry about not being able to then maintain that success. You have a fear of being judged or you're just not even worthy for that success or that promotion or that, having a busy clientele, having the abundance. And so, for instance, there might be an artist who's an amazing artist, and they've been told you should put on a showcase. But they're like, no, 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 because so many more people will see it. And then they're fearful of the demands and the pressure and people's expectations on them to then consistently produce exceptional art. There's this belief that then if they're successful, they can't fuck up. But that's not true. It's just a belief. And when we become aware of that, there are ways to clear those beliefs. But so ultimately, because of this fear of success, they're hindering their own potential for recognition, for their own growth. And in that growth, it's not only just in their business, but their work, their, everything, their emotion, their personality, like everything can grow from that. So that fear of success can be really scary, absolutely scary. So they stay small so that they don't become overwhelmed with all of that stuff. That, by the way, is only just made believe, like it's not necessarily true. They're just making up stories. Oh my God, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. But is it? Who knows? And so how do we overcome that? So we just take baby steps. We celebrate the small successes. So we acknowledge and celebrate just the small achievements. And it doesn't have to be massive. They can be really small. You can just put on, like the artist could put on four paintings and just have family and friends over. So it's having this positive acknowledgement that can then just boost your self-esteem and create motivation. So a long time ago, one of my coaches said, action creates motivation. And I've never forgotten it because it's so true. And so remember that we have a choice, that change can be incremental. It doesn't have to be you here and then you over here. Some people love that though, right? But if it's this that's getting in your way, just have the small baby steps. Anything forward is beautiful. It's that forward movement. And my current coach at the moment talks about just moving in 2mm shifts. That creates also just a stable foundation for yourself, for your self-esteem, for what you can, what you're willing to, how much you're willing to put yourself out there. So if you do baby steps, you just kind of get used to that. And then you can grow a little bit more, get used to that, grow a little bit more, get used to that. So it's celebrating those small successes is really crucial. So the second thing that we get in our own way with is then the fear of failure. So it's the opposite of fear of success. This is the beauty of the human paradox. So the fear of failure can also lead to that self-sabotage, because this fear can make us avoid taking any risks or trying anything new, because we're afraid of falling short of our own expectations, of other people's expectations. They may have tried something in the past and been ridiculed for it. They don't want to fail, but there is no failure. There's only feedback. And so, for instance, there may be someone who declines a promotion at work because they fear that they won't meet the expectations. Their self-talk is like, oh my God, I can't do that. I'm not good enough. I don't have the skills. I need this certificate. And so ultimately, they're missing out on potential growth and success. And again, not just in the business world or their career, in their personal life, in their personal development. And so, how do we overcome this? So, we set realistic goals. If you're not one of those people that, want to go from, I don't know, washing the floors to then managing a whole team, then set yourself realistic goals. We always want to set ourselves up to succeed. So avoid setting yourself up for failure with unrealistic or overly ambitious goals. Instead, just set small, achievable goals that gradually build towards your larger objectives. Just break them down into manageable steps. That's quite similar to the other one, is celebrate your successes. It's just, bite-sized pieces. Because this then makes the process less daunting, and it helps you then to track your process, your progress. So you can look back and go, oh my God, yeah, I nailed that. Cool, I'm ready for more tasks or more responsibility, or whatever that might be for you. How are we going so far? Are there any questions? Is it all making sense? Can anyone relate to the two that I've just covered? Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize I'd put this in here. This is one of my testimonials. So this was this gorgeous woman who actually had just lost her job and was so stuck in the failure and low self-esteem. So she came to me for some coaching sessions. And even after that first session, because the first session we do this beautiful exercise where we get you on a journey of where you want to be and who you want to be. And we give you a pathway for you, and we end up sort of creating this beautiful mantra or soul alignment statement where when you're feeling off track and overwhelmed, you come back to this statement to continue on to that journey and that destination of where you want to go. And so, yeah, it was beautiful. The second, we did the ego work with her as well. And so within those kind of first 4 weeks, we were able to let things go, reframe her language, her thoughts. She met different sides of her, which she thought she was not supposed to like, and that was the ego side. And she just started to become more aware of her mindset, her thought process, her inner talk, her triggers. We created the mantras, started actions to back herself up. And so, yeah, just the beginning of the journey was like massive for her, even in that first week of the 12-week program that I do. So yeah, it was just really, really beautiful to be able to watch people what I love about my job is watching people step into their own truth and their own divinity. Like it's beautiful to watch. So low self-esteem, that can help in our self-sabotage journey. So people with low self-esteem, they will engage in self-sabotage as a way to confirm their negative self-beliefs, their self-talk. Because when they can, because they start gaining proof that they can't do things. And now self-esteem, I mean, the core, the root cause of that, that's obviously on a personal level, and everyone's going to have that from different things. But they could just believe that they don't believe that they deserve happiness or success or abundance or love. And so they will continuously kind of unconsciously sabotage their chances of achieving these things because they don't think that they're worth it. So for an example, someone with a low self-esteem might constantly seek approval from other people. They may avoid asserting their opinions or talking up at all because they may believe that they are unworthy of anything good. So this also then ricochets and leads to a lack of self-confidence. And they become so unfulfilled unacknowledged. Like, we want to try and really overcome that low self-esteem. And so in order to do that is know who you are. So when you know what your boundaries are, when you know what your values are, when you know what kind of person that you want to be, you can then explore different ways, therapies like coaching or self-help books or spiritual development or self-development kind of courses or therapists that can provide valuable tools for stepping into your truth and courage. And it is just about starting to get curious, like explore self-help topics. This is about owning and honoring your rights as a human. Like, you deserve it just as much as anyone else. But it's clearing those negative beliefs. Learn what triggers you. What unconscious behaviors do you have? And get to the root cause of this low self-esteem. And if you're struggling with emotional issues or trauma that contribute to self-sabotage, like, get help. Find the root cause. Clear that shit. Because if you're wanting to move forward, you've got to get past that. You've got to understand it, know it. What else can get in our own way? Past experiences. It's a biggie. So past experiences, and usually, especially the ones where they feel that they have failed other people and themselves,